Morning children. Now we are doing the chapter of Introduction to Chemistry. So today in this chapter we will discuss what is chemistry laboratory and what are the general instructions, general rules that you need to follow while working in the chemistry lab. So what is chemistry laboratory? Actually, it is a room. Chemistry lab, it is a room where the experiments are performed, right? So while working in the chemistry lab, you all must know the proper use of equipments, the proper use of chemicals, how you are going to use those chemicals in the laboratory. So you need to be very careful while working in the chemistry lab, because whichever experiments you need to do, you need to use some of the chemicals, some of the concentrated acids like sulfuric acids, nitric acids, which are chemicals only. So what are the general instructions, general rules that you needed to follow in the chemistry lab? So rule number 1, while performing the experiment in the lab, now some of the things which are must for you to carry when you go to the lab are the lab coat, a soap, a duster, and a small towel. You need to carry these things with you when you go to the lab to do your experiment. And another thing which you need to carry with you is the textbook for consultation and a practical book where you have to record the result of your experiment. Then, before you do the experiment, you need to read the experiment thoroughly in advance, and you must have an idea about that experiments, how you are going to do that. Okay, then the next thing, you must, before you do your experiment, your lab table and the apparatus, it must be clean, and you must keep all the chemicals which are needed to do the experiment in proper order. Then after that, do your experiment confidently and patiently, not in a hurry. Then if you find any difficulty while doing that experiment, then you need to approach to the teacher or go to the teacher for her or his guidance. Okay? Then after you finish the experiment, again you need to clean the table, you need to clean all the apparatus which you have used in the lab, and keep all those things in proper order, and make sure that you have turned off the tab and the gas which you have used for the experiment. So these are the precautions, general rules, general precautions which you need to follow in the chemistry lab. Then the next one is the safety precautions in a chemistry laboratory. Besides general precautions, you need to follow the safety rules also. While doing the experiments, you need to keep yourself safe also, and you need to keep the lab also safe. So safety of the lab is one of the most important concern while you are working with the medical supplies or chemicals or some of the apparatus, because most of the apparatus or equipments are made of glasses, right? And the chemicals which are not improperly stored or handled will react with each other, and they will cause accidents and causing explosions and sometimes fire also. And these explosions, they will cause an accident, and ultimately they will damage the property of the chemistry lab, and they will not only damage the property of the chemistry lab, but they will also damage the experiments that you have performed there, and they will also damage the people who are working there in the chemistry lab. So there are some safety rules which you are needed to follow while working in the chemistry lab or while doing your experiments. So what are those safety precautions? You must wear a lab coat, okay, to protect your clothing, and you need to protect your eyes also, and for that you can wear safety goggles. but you should not wear contact lens. Then the next safety rule is you must read the labels of all the chemical reagent, containers before using their contents. Then handle the dangerous reagents or chemicals properly with care, when you are using, such as the reagents such as sulfuric acid, concentrated nitric acid and concentrated sulfuric acid. Then you should not throw the hot concentrated sulfuric acid in the sink without cooling it, and you must make sure that there must be a running water into the sink, so that when you throw away the hot concentrated acid into it, it is safely washed away. Then do not heat a test tube containing a solution with its mouth facing towards your face. It must be dangerous sometimes. Then if any chemical or if any liquids spill on your skin or clothes, then wash immediately under running water. Then never test a chemical or inhale its vapor unless your teacher instructs you to do so. Then do not eat or drink in the laboratory. Then identify, the most important thing is, before you enter the lab only, you need to identify the fire extinguisher, and you must know how to use it also. So these are the precautions, safety precautions, which you have to follow inside the chemistry lab. And children, on page 9 there are some common laboratory apparatus which I wanted you to go through it. So let me read out for you. The first one is test tube. Now we can use this test tube for carrying out chemical test and for heating solids and liquids. Then beaker, it is used for stirring, mixing and heating substances. Then conical flask, the flask with a cone shaped, it is used for mixing liquids. Then round bottom flask, it is used for heating liquids. Then flat bottom flask, which is used for mixing or stirring liquids, should not be used for heating. Flat bottom flask should not be used for heating. Then measuring cylinder, which is used to measure the volume of liquids. Then there is a funnel, which is used for pouring liquids into vessels with a narrow mouth, or it is also used for the process of filtration. Then evaporating dish or china dish, which is used for heating or evaporation of substances. Then wire gauge, which helps in the heating glass apparatus evenly and therefore reducing the chances of breakage. Bunsen burner, which is used for heating. Then there is a tripod stand, which is used to support other apparatus. So these are some common laboratory apparatus which I wanted you to go through it. So thank you, children.